you do support law enforcement, right? I mean,
Is this a trick question?
No,
Yeah,
I'm assuming, right?
Of course.
So the FBI, good guys, right? FBI?
Most of them, yeah.
Most of them?
There are some bad eggs occasionally.
Yeah, but as an institution.
As an institution, sure.
Okay. Well, they've said that this mortgage crisis, this mortgage fraud that's been perpetrated, has not been because of the subprime borrowers, the people that are poor or working class. It's been caused by the banks. This is their statistic now, Sean. 80% of the mortgage fraud has been caused by the banks and the lending institutions. 80%.
Everybody got greedy. I'm not going to disagree.
Everybody.
With you.
Wait a minute. 80%.
But the government. But no.
80%.
I don't necessarily know where the FBI got into the business of figuring out who did this.
Well, they have a whole white-collar fraud unit, which Bush W. Depleted that unit and moved them out of white-collar crime.
But you're not answering my question.
During the worst white-collar crime that was going on,
is there no responsibility at all from the borrower if they buy a house that they can't afford? Who do you want to pay for the house that they decided to buy? They signed their name. Who should pay for that house if they can't afford it instead of evicting them?
First of all, a lot of them were swindled and they were lied to. These contracts with the balloon payments. If I brought one of these in here right now, you couldn't even find.
Do you sign a contract without reading it?
I think a lot of us do.
I don't.
You don't?
No, I read it.
You have a mortgage?
I have read every page.
You read the 50 pages?
I'm a loser.
No, I'm impressed. I mean, have you read your health care contract with Fox?
That I didn't care about. But I have.
Why? Because you're not going to get sick? You better read it, buddy.
No, because
when you get sick, there's a clause in there somewhere where they might not pay for you.
If you sign a movie contract, do you read your movie contract?
Yes, I read the movie contract.
I have a contract for radio and TV. I've read every page of it.
Yeah.
So my point is, I do feel sorry for them, Michael. I really do. And if you wanted to start something...
You feel sorry for the people that have been swindled?
No, I feel sorry for people that... In some cases, perhaps there's some truth to it, but they also have a responsibility. Think about this. If you put your name on the dotted line in a legal document, don't you bear responsibility?
These people have been deceived and they've been exploited. You know, this is like
no responsibility at all for them.
No, this is like asking a woman how short was your skirt after she's been raped. It's that's not even, no, but you wouldn't blame the victim for that. Why were you walking on that side of town?
So they shouldn't, if there were balloon payments, they shouldn't have read it? They shouldn't have hired a lawyer to read it for them?
A poor person?
You're not that poor if you're buying a house, Michael.
You don't understand what's going on here.
I was poor in my life. I lived in apartments. I couldn't even afford to pay my rent, and I would paint the apartments for my landlord.
Sean, there have always been people who have lived beyond their means. We all know who they are. There's probably one in every one of our families or friends or neighbors or whatever.
So if they lose their house...
But they've never caused a crash of this proportion before. Right. That's because they can't. They don't have the assets and the money to be able to cause the crash that was caused by the people downtown here who were moving money around, taking bets out on money, derivatives, credit default swaps, insurance on the bet, then a bet on the insurance. That's why we ended up in this situation here.
It's not. I disagree.
You don't...
No, it's...
Everyone acknowledges that that's how we got here.
No, not everyone. When the government dictated that the financial institutions and banks had to lower their standards or else they would be at risk of punishment from the government, then people who normally wouldn't get loans were taking loans that they couldn't afford to pay back.
And you think that's what caused
this crash? That's a big part of it, yes.
Yeah, a big part of it.
Very big part of it.
FBI says maybe 10% of it.
Let me ask you this.
So you disagree with the FBI?
I disagree with you.
But you're saying you disagree with law enforcement.
I disagree with your analysis.
Disagree with law enforcement.
You don't want to in any way blame the individual.
I just said that. No, I just said there are always people who live beyond their means.
Here's
but
my next question.
That's a small piece of it. Do you know the number one reason why people lose their homes? Medical bills. It's the number one reason for bankruptcies. And yes, so why don't you get behind universal health care for everyone?
Let me ask you one last question.
Well, no, don't leave that. I just asked you a question. Why don't you get behind universal health care?
Because I'm going into that now. Here's my point. What's the answer then? If we don't have capitalism, and I'm not saying capitalism is perfect, I think we can make improvements. I think there are unethical people that run some businesses, but there are some very ethical people that create goods and services that we want, need, and desire.
There's a lot of ethical people who do that.
Ton.
Yeah,
right. I think you say you're an ethical person?
Yeah, and there's a lot of small business people who struggle to get by. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not against, when you say I'm against capitalism, I'm against what it has become.
In some instances.
In most instances downtown here, in the big picture of how this this economy is being run, of how the money's being moved around. We don't make things anymore, Sean. Have you recognized that?
I've made things my whole life.
No,
so
I'm talking about the money.
I agree with you.
We just make money off money now.
Some people do, and some people do it in an ethical way, and some people do it in
But where's the stuff? Where's the next invention? Where's the thing? Where's the incentive for our young people?
But they're the ones that provide these startup companies sometimes the money that gets, the next new drug that's going to extend or prolong our life. They're the ones that create the goods and services that we desire every day. And coming up next, Dana Perino, Jenna Lee, and our great, great, great American panel. Straight ahead.